Company policies. Fraud is making claims for services that have not been provided. For example, submitting timesheets for visits not made, submitting timesheets that include time that was not used to provide services, misrepresenting services provided, misrepresenting the patient's condition. Any employee engaging in fraudulent behavior will be subject to immediate disciplinary action, including termination. Threats and demands. To submit to sexual requests to keep your job or avoid some other loss, and offers of job benefits in return for sexual favors. Retaliation. For having reported or threatened to report harassment. Physical conduct. As assault, unwanted touching, blocking normal movement, or interfering with work directed at you because of gender or race or any other protected basis. We are committed to providing a work environment free of unlawful harassment such as verbal conduct, derogatory comments, inappropriate compliments, slurs, or unwanted sexual advances, invitations, or comments. Visual conduct, such as derogatory posters, photographs, cartoons, drawings, or gestures. Arrests and criminal record. You will be fingerprinted prior to hire if, at any time during your employment, you are arrested, or the company becomes aware of a charge against you after you were hired. You will no longer be allowed to work for the agency until such time that you are cleared by the courts and the agency feels it is safe to resume your employment. Punctuality on the job is extremely important. Call your staffing coordinator if you will be more than 15 minutes late. Constant late arrivals will result in removal from a case. Do not contact the beneficiary directly. All communication must be between the aide and the agency. Failure to inform the office of an absence will be recorded as a no-call, no-show. Being absent more than 3 times within a 3-month time will put you in jeopardy of being removed from a case. Scheduling. Home health aides that work for 2 agencies must be sure to never accept conflicting schedules. This is an illegal practice. Example: if you are currently caring for a client from 8 o'clock in the morning until 8 o'clock at night, you cannot accept another client at 8 p.m. You cannot be in 2 homes at once. If you are unable to get to your shift, you must notify your coordinator ASAP. You must report to your client's home on time if you arrive early. Do not clock in until your scheduled start time. Tardiness is not tolerated. Signs of abuse and neglect to look out for. Bruises on a beneficiary that are hard to explain. Fear of one person. A request from a beneficiary not to be left alone with a person. Conflicting stories from family members. A feeling that things are not right. Lack of nourishment and care for the beneficiary. Lack of family concern for the safety of the beneficiary. Exchange of abusive words between family members. If you notice any sign of abuse or neglect, report that information to the Director of Coordination at 718-970-4179.
It is very important to keep your client's personal information private. Protect it as if it were your own information. The most common violations of HIPAA seem quite small and can be something as simple as talking about a client's medication with a next-door neighbor. In order for you to provide quality care, you will need to have personal health information about your client. Privacy and confidentiality are important so your client can know what they tell you will be kept private and limited to those who need the information for treatment, payment, and healthcare operations. Your client needs to trust you. It is illegal to disclose this information and not keep it confidential. Sharing personal information goes against the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, also known as HIPAA. Personal health information is any identifying information about an individual and includes medical, financial, and family issues. All information about clients is considered private or confidential, whether written on paper, saved on a computer, or spoken aloud. This includes their name, address, age, social security number, the reason they are sick, the treatments and medications they receive, past health information, and why the older adult is receiving services. There are certain people in the older adult's life who need to know personal information. Let's call these people the circle of care of your client. You can discuss the client within the circle of care for the purposes of providing or assisting with health care. You cannot share information with anyone outside the circle of care without written consent of your client. You can discuss confidential information with your supervisor or other colleagues who are directly involved with the care recipient, but no one else. Here are some tips for keeping things confidential. When it comes to spoken communication with other caregivers, don't whisper in corridors or elevators about your clients or talk on phones where others can overhear you. Be very careful with how you store hard copies of medical records, letters, forms, etc. Be careful with computerized medical records and email, and think about the recipients of your email. If your employer sends email that may include confidential information, make sure that you have a confidentiality notice. Remember, if you need to see client information to perform your job, you are allowed to do so. You may see information on whiteboards or sign-in sheets, or overhear private health information as you do your day-to-day work. You must keep this information confidential. Clients will want to speak to you about their condition because they trust you. As long as you keep it to yourself, you have nothing to worry about. What will happen to you if you break the law? Let's discuss the consequences. If you reveal any private or confidential information to someone who is not classified as needing to know, the consequences will vary. You have violated the client's confidentiality and you have broken the law. Agencies and their employees can receive up to a $250,000 fine and/or up to 10 years in prison for using information for personal gain or malicious harm. Even if you avoid these consequences, you may still lose your job since you are seen as a liability. You do not want to put yourself or your agency in this situation.
Complaint procedure. Call your coordinator or complete a report online or contact the head of client care at 718-338-8500 extension 4771.